Alright, so this is a paid request for Guillermo, and he wanted me to do a tier list. So, yeah, if people want me to do more tier lists, feel free to send any requests to either directly to my PayPal, that's the best way to do it, or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box. Or it could be reaction, commentary, review, re-review, whatever. Or yeah, more people want me to do more tier lists, feel free. And actually, I will be showing the tier list for syncing. I'm going to hit record on this now, and should be recording now. And in order to sync it up, the mouse is going to be on the S now, and then down to the A now. Okay. So Guillermo wanted me to do a tier list on found footage POV or faux documentary films. Found footage, of course, being films like Blair Witch Project, among many others. POV films being films like Hardcore Henry and Searching, where the person's point of view. Faux documentary, that's like This is Spinal Tap, things of that nature. He said the first 40. Now I made a list, and I probably got to over 100, because I've seen over 100 of these type of films. The first 40 are films are either I really loved, or films are there but to tolerate. So none of these films are probably going to be in the here F or C range. So S, A, and B is probably maybe C. We'll see where we go. Maybe C, but we'll go from there. And let's go with two that I know are going to be the S rank: Blair Witch Project and Searching. In fact, I don't know. I go back and forth between which is my favorite of these. I think right now I had Blair Witch Project 1 and Searching 2. The more I think I might put Searching 1 and Blair Witch 2. Both are fantastic at what they're trying to do, in my opinion. Searching is literally one of my favorite films in the past 10 years. That's how much I really enjoy it. I got the Blu-ray right over there. I think John Cho was robbed of some type of award recognition. I say it has to be Oscar, but I mean any Golden Globe, anything, for fuck's sake. He was robbed of it. I think he gave an absolutely stellar performance as a guy whose daughter goes missing. I think the way it was directed took what was started in this film Unfriended and worked out any kinks and any little issues, and fully showcased with the advent of what could be done on Twitter, all these other, Facebook, YouTube, make this not leave the computer screen, being in the point of view of this computer screen, and all the emotions of John Cho searching for his daughter, all the things he's trying to do to find his daughter. I think it really worked as a mystery, as a thriller. Wonderful film, highly underrated. I say underrated because not many people talked about. I did not see the sequel Missing. It's not playing around here. It's not up for streaming, so I can't see it, even if I had wanted to. But the big knock against that film is the fact that there's no John Cho. Now, I don't want a sequel to Searching, but I'm just saying John Cho's a big reason why that film worked. So, I don't know about the sequel, whatever you want to call it. And Blair Witch Project is what got me introduced to the whole found footage, all that stuff angle. And I remember seeing this on VHS tape. It was in 1999. I did not know anything about it. I did not follow the hype because my family didn't have a computer. Didn't have a computer at all to follow the hype. So, didn't know anything about it at all. I saw maybe one TV spot, trailer. I think I saw that Curse of the Blair Witch thing on Sci-Fi Channel. I'm like, okay, what's this about? And maybe Sister Neighbor's review. I think that's all I knew about it. I'm like, wow, this looks different. It looks unique. It looks outside the norm. I had not seen a film like that. Saw it without knowing much about it. It hooked me. I like the three people, Heather, Josh, and Mike. I love the simple aesthetic. I felt like I was the fourth member of this group. It had an interesting enough backstory with the witch and the documentary and giving us information about it. And I was hooked. I was in these woods being creeped out as they were. And I remember when it got to the end, my heart pumping more and more and feeling that intense. I'm like, is this what it's like to be the... I'm not scared of it now. I wouldn't know if I would say I'm scared then, but I definitely felt my pulse rate like intense. Now, I don't feel that intense when I watch it nowadays, but I still remember that initial feeling, and there's not a lot of films that did that to me. So I do appreciate that. I think the acting is really good. If people want to say, well, anybody could have done it, well, trust me, there's been hundreds of movies that have tried to do it. Not many of them are the Blair Witch Project. And the fucking fact that this hasn't gotten a new special edition is a fucking crime. There's all this talks that there's a feature-length documentary. If not, there could be. You do retrospective, new interviews, so much stuff you could unearth for footage. Hell, I have a cut of the film that's like 2.5 hours long. Just someone found all these random deleted scenes, not just on the Blu-ray DVD, but other avenues, and it's like a 2.5 hour cut. Now granted, I prefer this cut, but it was nice to see as a big fan. And when this came out, I had the comic book, I had shot glasses, I had a book that's just a diary you write in, I had a book that told a bit of the story. I was obsessed with it. I had the fucking t-shirt. I think I still have the t-shirt. It doesn't fit, because that was 99 and this is 2023. But I had the missing persons t-shirt. I mean, I had it all, so I'm a big fan. These definitely the S tier. Let's go in order. 84 Charlie Mulpick. As of right now, I'm going to put that in the B. I like the film. It's not a horror movie, but is before Blair Witch Project, and it's about 84 Charlie Mulpick. The Mulpick is motion picture. It's the video camera that a soldier is following this platoon to film what's going on and bring it back to the world, what's going on to the superiors. And it's a war movie. It's a war movie done in the point of view of this video camera following this platoon. And you have, is it Rich? Forget his name. He played Peter Bird's buddy, football buddy in Shocker. He was the co-star with Clayton Rohner on this TV show called G vs. E, also known as Good vs. Evil. He's been a few other stuff too. He's the main bad guy in The Crow 2 City of Angels. I forget the actor's name, but he's in it. I say it was before Blair Witch Project. It was definitely a unique way of doing a war film. I don't remember much other details. It's been a while since I've seen it. That's one of the reasons I put it on a B, because just I don't remember much about it. I'd have to refresh my memory on it. I remember liking it, but at the same time, I don't think it had much of a like huge emotional resonance compared to like Casualties of War, Hamburger Hill, and other Vietnam War movies at that time. But it's still a, if you like war films, or if you like found footage that's not a horror, A4 Charlie Mulpick is definitely worth a look. Afflicted. I'll put that A, maybe like an A minus or something. I really liked Afflicted. That was a nice, pleasant surprise. It was a nice, pleasant surprise. Much better than I thought it would be. I thought the actors did their jobs well. I thought that it was an interesting concept. It was kind of a take on vampirism. And I liked the setup where our lead guy has his affliction that he could die any minute. And so he wants to do this one last big old tour with his buddy. Amongst it, he goes with a lady. He's found out to be bitten. And things are not going the best for him. And it becomes a bit of a... You know, in a way, Afflicted is like a much better version of Morbius. In a way, because it's a guy who's sick. He gets bit. He's feeling better. But then he turns to this vampire. Yeah, Afflicted is a much better version of Morbius, now that I think about it. So, you want... And also with a lot of these movies, they don't have the typical... Not all, but most of these films on this list, one of the reasons I like them is they don't have the typical found footage ending. So I know that might be a spoiler, but... And Afflicted is the same thing. It feels like it'd be like a nice pilot for a TV show. But there's some pretty good action sequences with what they do with the camera, showing like him climbing buildings and some pretty intense action set pieces. I think it falters a little bit in the third, the finale, but little nitpicks here and there. But overall, I do like Afflicted, not Altered, Afflicted. As Above, So Below, I really enjoy. I'll put this an A. I can't quite put it on S tier, but As Above, So Below is one of my favorite found footage movies. I thought it was another nice, pleasant surprise. It doesn't end like a typical found footage film. I thought the acting was pretty decent. I thought it was a great idea to take place in Paris, in the catacombs, which is real, with all the skulls and stuff in it. That's a real place. I thought they had a great location. I'm a sucker for concepts where it's a place that uses your deep fears to screw with you, mess with you. So some of these folks have like inner demons or inner fears that come out. I also like this, a found footage film that has like a little bit of a adventure quality to it. Thought that was nice. It was refreshing. Kind of like a found footage adventure horror movie. Like a little bit of Tomb Raider. So I did like that aspect as well. I don't have a lot of issues with it, like little nitpicks here and there. Once in a while, once in a blue moon, there's a little bit of iffy effect. Like there's a bit where they're trying to look at the back of the stone, they gotta use fire, and you can tell that little bit of CG. There's like a creature that's like stuck in a wall and tries to do like a jump scare. Ooh! It comes out of the wall, some shaky CG, and that just that one little bit, little nitpicks here and there. But overall, yeah, I think it's a very nice, pleasant surprise for a found footage film. I quite enjoyed that. The Behind the Mask, Rise of Leslie Vernon, I would put that in there. That's more of a, that's that found footage as a full documentary. That is an underrated film of that time period. That's a film I'm surprised never got a sequel. The gist of it is this documentary crew, which actually the girl lead in the crew is one of the kids in Home Alone. I forget her name. I think she's the one that speaks French to Macaulay Culkin in the first one. Les Competents. I think it's that girl. She leads this documentary to this guy who says he's going to be a killer. I mean, that's one of the issues. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to feel sorry for the film crew because you know who this guy is, you know what he's playing for all this time, and now you grow a conscience like at the last minute. Like if you grew a conscience 15 days ago, you could have maybe saved some people. So that's really one of my few big but few hiccups with it. But I thought it was a nice, refreshing take on a slasher film where, because of the documentary, like the guy is very self mocking of like, yeah, at like you're walking while everybody else is running their ass off. I gotta get my cardio up. And you have people like Robert Englund playing the Dr. Loomis type. You have the guy's family being excited that he's doing this. And this takes place in a world where Jason and Freddy are real. So this guy wants to be like them because they're real. He wants to be one of those killers that hopefully will graduate to be the supernatural killer, which he does by the end. That's why it was a nice take on the slasher film, and I'll say it again, I'm surprised it's never got a sequel. But now it's too late, but I mean, it wasn't a big box office success, so I guess not too surprising. One of those films that like people in the horror community would talk about, but mainstream didn't know what the hell it was or even existed. So, Beyond the Mask of Rise of Lizzie Vernon, definitely a good one. Borderlands, I'll put that in the C category. I mean, it's some of this having trouble remembering. It's people going to a church to investigate a church. It has some decent spooky stuff to it. The acting is not too bad. Is that the most exciting movie? And the ending I'm 50-50 on. And I don't know how to do that without spoiling it. I wish it went a different way, but the revelation at the end of where they're at is very strange and creepy and unsettling. If you've seen the Borderlands, you know what I'm talking about. There's also known as Final Prayer. I'll spoil it for those who never will see it. If there's a spoiler, I'll put this up and then I'll put it down when spoilers are gone. How about that? Spoiler, you find out, is... I'll do over here so I'm not blocking. Spoiler is they're going to the inner depths of the church, but it keeps getting like smaller and smaller passageways, and then they're trapped and they realize they're in something's stomach, and they're pretty much crushed, digested away. Not typical, but on the flip side, typical of they all die at the end. So. This is spoiler for... I'll do the spoiler for As Above, So Below. Why not? What's cool about As Above, So Below's ending is you have to go down to go up. It's their way to escape. And so the last three people escape where they go, when they're going down, they're actually going up onto the surface and they make it out and they're alive. So not everybody dies at the end. So that's what I mean. It was pretty refreshing. So, but yeah, Borderlands, it has some decent stuff to it, but you know, I put it a little bit lower on the list. Chronicle, Butterfly Kisses. I'll put that over here. A. Butterfly Kisses I have on Blu-ray. That was another nice, pleasant surprise. I thought it did a really good job selling a story of a guy who makes wedding videos, and you get the semblance that he wanted to be a director. He wanted to do more with this than just do wedding videos. So he finds some footage. He's putting it together. And it's another group of filmmakers that were researching this legend where because they did this dare with this tunnel. Now they keep seeing it like from the corner of your eye. And as a viewer, I'm watching going, was that something? I swear I noticed something when I'm watching what the guy's watching, this footage. And I tried to feel like, oh shit, I did see what I thought I saw. So I made it a little bit like nicely creepy. And I thought it also had a nice meta approach where people don't believe him when they say he thinks it's real. This is a world where found footage films exist. You even have one of the makers of the Blair Witch Project go, dude, why are you doing this, man? We already made this movie. No, but it's real. And yeah, but come on, dude. Like, Ellie gets on a radio station and people don't buy it. Oh, it's bullshit. Or if you think it's real, you should go to the tops. And it felt refreshing. Like, people are saying stuff that people would say in the real world. And you have the investigation, you have two movies going on. You have the footage he's putting together and that kind of interesting mystery. It's like, this is a better, from all I've heard, this is a better Slender Man than the actual Slender Man movie. And by the way, all these I've reviewed, so if you want to know more thoughts, just check out the review on the channel. I can't go in depth on 40 movies, otherwise this would be like a 3-hour video. But Butterfly Kiss is definitely interesting and worth a look. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely one of my favorites in that genre. Chronicle, I put it a B. I liked the film. It's a nice take on the superhero genre. But these three kids, or teens as you say, go into a cave and they find something, and now they have these superpowers. One is Michael B. Jordan, who would later be in Creed films. One is the guy who would be the Green Goblin in Amazing Spider-Man 2. And the third guy was the lead, and I don't know what else he's been in. Like I said, it was... Wasn't it the guy who directed the Fantastic Four movie? Fan Four Stick? I believe it was. And, like I said, I liked the idea, and it was interesting, and it was fun to watch. But at the same time, I haven't seen it for so long, that's one I'd have to rewatch again. Not sure if the effects would hold up the best. Watch it again. I don't know. That's the film I'd have to rewatch to give a better opinion. And until then, I'll put it in the B category. Cloverfield. Almost like, do I want to go B plus or A minus? You know what? I'll go with. I'll put it here for now. I like the first Cloverfield. I saw it in the theater back in the day and really enjoyed it. I wish the ending, things that went a bit differently. I thought it was cool to see a big monster movie done in this type of format. Made it different to do a monster movie that way. I don't think the acting was that bad. It went at a very quick pace. Like, I didn't really find any moments that it was slow or boring. The Terror Man, actually, he would go on to be in, what was his name? He was Deadpool's buddy in Deadpool 1 and 2. I forgot his damn name. I think he was the lead voice in that Emoji movie. He's actually got behind the camera there. And I remember when the trailer came out to this, I think it was in front of Transformers, and people did not know what it was. Like, it was kind of refreshing the amount of secrecy involved with that film. I remember there was people thinking it was a Transformer, not Transformer. They thought it was a, oh, it's gonna be a Voltron movie. I remember people, oh, it's gonna be a Godzilla movie. Like they thought it was like a new take on an established property. Cloverfield, oh, Cloverfield, that's a code name for, it's Godzilla, it's Voltron. It's like they would think it's these other properties, and this is a code name to be secretive. It's like, no, it's just its own thing, just a monster movie done in a found footage format. I know there's talks of doing a sequel. I think it's a bit too late for that. Even then, what? I mean, either it'd be done filmed typically, so it'd just be another monster movie in the vein of the Godzillas and Godzilla vs. Kongs and Pacific Rims, and you had Rampage and all these other movies. Or it's going to be another found footage, and people are tired of found footage. Not me. I mean, there's a lot of found footage films that are bad, but I'm still always intrigued by them because they could always be potentially gems like some of these films are. So, I'm always curious of a found footage movie in hopes that it'll be like one of these. But yeah, Cloverfield I like. Let's see. Curse of Professor Zartarnicus. I'll put that like a B. Interesting idea. A guy's doing, I think he was doing a paper for his work or college or something, and there's this guy who is obsessed with this monster, and this guy, oh, I'm going to use him and make him out to be a fool. And then it's slowly like, is he telling the truth? Is he not telling the truth? Or is this the guy that's just so lonely and so outside reality that he needs to believe this is real? I thought it was kind of a decent character piece on psychology of people. And like I said, the acting wasn't too bad. And overall, I did like the film. Like I said, some of these I've only seen once, and it's been a while ago, so I have vague memories of them. It's a lot of movies, it's a lot of movies to try to commit to memory in this, but like I said, all these films I have reviews on the channel. Just digging up the marrow. This one I definitely will put in the A. Honestly, one of Adam Green's better movies. That and Frozen, the one on the ski lift, where people are trapped on the ski lift. But Digging Up the Marrow, that's a film I'm surprised didn't get a sequel. Adam Green plays himself, a director that, a guy who he thinks is a fan. Or maybe he doesn't think he's a fan, but he hears about this story where this guy says he knows that monsters exist and he's seen them, and Adam Green thinks, oh, this seems like an interesting idea. So you do a bit of meta on found footage. Kane Hodder appears as himself because he's worked with Adam Green a lot. When the monsters appear, there's some pretty decent practical effects, and it seems like it's potential creating a neat backstory on these monsters, and that the whole, it's like Nightbreed, like there's a whole world of monsters out there, and one more could be showcased in a sequel. I think there's potential, but I guess the movie didn't do anything, so we get 4 Hatchet films but only 1 Digging Up the Marrow. Go fucking figure. We didn't need 1 Hatchet, let alone 4 Hatchet films, but we only did 1 Digging Up the Marrow. So that one I quite liked. The Dirties, I'll give that a B, somewhere around here. That one, I know they did another one that's on this list, I believe. I can find it. Can I find it? Yeah, I see it now. This one here. The same guy who did this. The Dirties is pretty much two people were fans of movies, and one, he's picked on in school, and how do I put it? You know something's not right with the guy, and it kind of culminates in a certain Columbine type of situation. And it does a nice job building up the characters and how it comes to that sad fruition. And I know it seems like a very depressing movie. There's some elements of humor, and even the way it ends, I remember not minding it too much. I remember the end title sequence. It was like a love letter to other titles of movies. If that, I know it's a weird thing to say, but very unique end title sequence. Like I said, and keep repeating, some of these movies are just, it's hard for me to remember because it's been forever since I've seen them. Exists, I'm definitely going to put this in the A quality. A quality. I'll put it there for now. One of the better Bigfoot movies. Easily the best Bigfoot movie to involve with found footage. It's from one of the guys who made the Blair Witch Project. I thought that it's told his story very quick and efficiently. I like the lead guy. There's a few moments here and there that seemed a little bit annoying, but that kind of vanished fairly quickly when the shit was hitting the fan. And these people are out in the woods and they hit something, they don't know what it is, and this Bigfoot's pissed off and they're trying to figure out a way to escape. And I thought the director did a nice job showcasing the Bigfoot creature, and when you do see it, it's actually one of the better looking creatures, effects wise. I think he did a nice job utilizing the GoPro cameras. So a guy's like bicycling, and you see just how fast he's going among the trees, and some nice reveals of Bigfoot, like, oh shit, he's there, or he's jumping from a high point down to their level, or some nice oh shit moments. Like I said, the ending I thought was rather refreshing, because you come to find out, once I get my water, that, spoilers, the thing they hit was the child. And that's why Bigfoot's so pissed off and angry and killing people. And so the guy, like, at the end puts down his gun, is like, you do what you want. Bigfoot shows mercy, leaves. So the guy at the end lives. And I thought, okay, that's kind of a nice little take on that story. So, like I said, compared to like Bigfoot County and what was that Bobcat Goldthwait one, Willow Creek, this one was a lot more better looking Bigfoot. Willow Creek was a boring cock tease. Bigfoot County was misleading piece of shit. Lame as, like, Bigfoot County is one of the worst. That would get the F. But Exists, probably my top 3 favorite Bigfoot films, along with Abominable and Harry and the Hendersons. I know it's like 34 minutes. Hardcore Henry, I'm going to go a little bit quicker. Hardcore Henry, I would definitely put... I'll put on S tier, fuck it. Hardcore Henry is a badass movie. Hardcore Henry is great. It's a damn good movie. I love Hardcore Henry. It's a lot of fun, fast-paced action, crazy set pieces. Just a lot of fun, really exciting, really thrilling. Told from the guy's point of view. Completely underrated. This went so under the radar. It hurts how underrated Hardcore Henry is. Great use of the band Queen. Sharlto Copley plays a guy helping you along I say you, but I did. You're in the guy's point of view, helping him along. Just again, some incredibly underrated action film. Hardcore Henry. Horror in the High Desert. I'll put it there for now. I thought that was actually a nice little pleasant surprise. I liked the story it was telling about a guy who was like a vlogger who was really into trains and he disappeared, and it did a pretty decent job establishing like his sister and his buddy and the investigation behind it. Kind of came off as an episode, well, not like a TV show, but people being interviewed was kind of like Unsolved Mysteries type episode type of thing. So I thought that was pretty nicely done for its budget. Fake Blood, I'll put it maybe here in the B category. That was about two guys who make horror films and they get this letter or this message that's someone's a fan of theirs, but they're going to do some horrendous stuff, and this is the footage, and it's like, well, is this real? Is this not real? It tries to have its cake and eat it too about, well, movies don't make people violent, but then they do. It's like, I think it could have done better picking a stance on that, but overall, I remember not minding that film too much. Evidence, I'll put that on C, but a bit higher, C, like C+. The first half seems very meh, but the thing about Evidence, when it gets to the second half, it just, the sheer audacity of just everything in the kitchen sink being thrown out and just going buck wild. I won't spoil it because I didn't take too long to spoil each of these, but I would say Evidence seems like the typical people go out in the woods, and it's not the best after movie, but again, just the audacity of just the shit hitting the fan, and the second half just made it kind of a fun watch. And the thing is, I know I did a letterbox thing. Some of these might be out of order because sometimes number 40 may be 39 and 39 may be 40, depending on my mood that day. Savage Land, that's definitely A quality. Very unique where it's not footage when you see the horror, it's still pictures. Because this guy was arrested because his whole town got massacred and he's the only one there, so he's the number one suspect. And it goes a little bit into the racism between his ethnicity and some of the other people, judging him because of his ethnicity. But it's more so a horror film where the way it told the story and the build up to the event and these really creepy looking still pictures, I thought was a nice different take on it. Definitely gave me the creeps. So I really like Savage Land. Fear of the Demon, I'll put it probably there in the C. Is about this film that was shown long, long ago and turned people crazy, and sort of a documentary about what this film could have been and what was it maybe about, and will we ever find it again. It's a faux documentary, fake documentary. It was interesting because of the subject matter. Kind of a fake documentary if they were able to find or search for whatever that movie was in Cigarette Burns, that John Carpenter master of horror. So I didn't mind Fury of the Demon. Grave Encounters, people could get mad at me, but I'm going to put it in the C category. People would have it higher. I like some of the creative tropes that it tries to do for scares. I just kind of wish it didn't go with the typical ending, just kind of predictable in a way of where it was going to end. E-Demon, Um, shit. Maybe like a B, B minus. I remember like a computer virus that's affecting people in the real world, and I just remember like the way it was filmed, kind of like Searching, and like the acting being above average. I remember the story being intriguing on that. The first Hotel Inferno I put in the C category. Let's put it there in the middle. I like the aspect of it being like a first person shooter, like first person horror video game, where, like Hardcore Henry, you see from the guy's point of view. It's a hit band that goes to this hotel. It's just that the dubbing on the guy, like the dubbing is awful, and it takes a while for it to get going. When it gets going, it's crazy, gory, and a lot of fun. Not big on the ending, but at least there's actually two sequels so far. I guess there's supposed to be more. So when I first watched it, I'm like, what the fuck? This ending sucks. But okay, there's more. There's a 2 and a 3, and okay. And by part 2, I wouldn't say the dubbing on the lead guy is good. I guess I just got used to it and enjoyed the bloodshed. And that actually goes to Hotel Inferno 2, which this I'm gonna put in the A category just for the audacity of that one. Definitely felt like Doom the movie, because at this point the character is in hell. I mean, you even have the Keiko demons. That's what the fuck they are, and people getting bashed in the head and done and all. For the low budget they had, like thousands of dollars, what they were able to do was pretty commendable and pretty like. Did you watch that film without watching the first one? All you gotta know is this hitman. He found out what was going on in the hotel. He was kicking some ass. He wants to save his lady. He was sent to hell. Boom, Hotel Inferno 2. Now he's in hell. And the journey is him to escape hell. Hotel Inferno 2, The Cathedral of Pain. And you can watch it without watching the first, and I do recommend it for those who like that type of stuff. Beneath Loch Ness, I did like that pretty decently, so I don't care. I like that. That actually has Werner Herzog playing himself, and I think was he playing himself? He's playing a director, and he's trying to gets. He's obsessed with looking into the. I'm trying to remember. Was he obsessed, or did he have his arm to it? I know he's working with other people to do a documentary on Loch Ness. I think he wants to take it seriously, but then other people want to make it more of a shock event, and there's like friction. So that's what I liked about it, was had a decent take on filmmaking, which is interesting to me. And yeah, like the story had a little bit of a monster movie. Probably the best movie I could think of deal with the Loch Ness monster, to be honest. Incident at Loch Ness, I should say, not Beneath Loch Ness. That's a different one. Incident at Loch Ness. Howard's Mill, I would give it a B. It's about guy, his wife is missing, and a film crew follows him into researching what happened to his missing wife and investigation of was she murdered, was she kidnapped, and it goes a bit into a sci-fi Twilight Zone story, what may have happened to these people. The story, the acting wasn't too bad. The story kept me interested. I won't give it away for people who haven't seen it, but overall I did like it. Into the Storm. You know, fuck it. I'll put it in here because I enjoyed Into the Storm. I did. I'll just put it in the middle. I thought it was the Twister is the #1 tornado movie. This for me is a second. There's not many tornado movies. If they are, they're really cheap jet horseshit sci-fi channel films. This is actually a tornado movie with a budget, and while the acting is good, but they don't have the big personalities like Bill Paxton, may rest in peace, and Philip Seymour Hoffman and Twister. Into the Storm, I thought, has a little bit of that found footage where there's cameras being used by the storm chasers. And yeah, it's ridiculous, it's silly, but then at least have it look decent compared to sci-fi channel shit. Lake Mungo, I'll put that here on the A. Well done mystery of what happened to this person and her ghost maybe contacting her family. I know it's a very, very vague. I like Lake Mungo. I thought I did an interesting story. Operation Avalanche, I'll put that in the B category, but I'll say that it's more of a high B. That's pretty much what if someone back to the day documented the landing of the moon. What if during that documentation you realize that it was fate? So it's them documenting about how they faked the moon landing. Then at the very, very end tries to be a thriller, which I don't think it needed to do that. It should have just been like a fun, like comedy about the fate of the moon landing. Found footage comedy about the fate of the moon landing. I don't think the thriller aspects worked the best at the end, but I've seen much worse as well. I didn't hate it, but Operation Avalanche is a very interesting film. I don't know, I keep using that word interesting. Population Zero I did quite like, so I don't know where I would put it, so I'll put it here for now just because. That's more of, it looks like a horror film, but it's not. It's a drama. It's a found footage, fate. It's a fate documentary where this guy's looking into why did a guy kill these innocent people, then turn himself in. And you find out why that is, and it has a little bit of an environmental message, and this is why in the documentary, the head guy gets involved because he's told to get involved. And again, it's a mystery looking into what causes, why. Like I said, these found footage movies has more mystery, like Savage Land and Population Zero, like the more fake documentary. Like fake documentary is a mystery. It's actually something I'm intrigued by because it didn't really happen, so you don't feel fucking bad and depressed thinking about this mystery. But it's a mystery so it keeps you involved. It's not just lame shit like Alien Abduction where it's cheap effects or shitty endings and such. Possession of Michael Keane, I put that as a B because Michael Keane didn't star in it. If Michael Keane starred in it, it'd be S tier. But Michael Keane, good friend of mine. Once in a while I joke with him, like, you starred in this movie. He's like, well, I don't fucking remember it. I thought it was not that bad of a take on an exorcism story because I thought the lead guy did a good job acting. I actually think it's one of the more decent exorcism films, but that's just me. Poughkeepsie Tapes, actually I put that in like the B category. That's a film I thought I would hate, but the way it was directed was a bit better than I thought it would be, and it was actually trying to tell somewhat of a bit of a story. I can see why people would be creeped out about the Poughkeepsie Tapes. It's almost like a good version of those August Underground movies. It's not something I would rewatch over and over again, but it has its issues and problems, but overall I didn't mind it. Sacraments, it could be a lot more exciting and maybe more stuff happening. but I did like it. I don't know where the hell these. I don't know where these all fit. Oh well. But yeah, it's actually one of the few Ty West films I like. That's pretty much a take on the Jim Jones, don't drink the Kool-Aid type of cult. Didn't mind that. St. Francisville Experiment, I'm going to give that a B. Somewhere in the B's. That's a film I watched back in the day. Wanted to find any film like Blair Witch Project. It's nowhere as good as Blair Witch Project, but it's pretty much 4 people doing an experiment at this house. Kind of like remember that TV show Fear? MTV's Fear? So it was like a longer version of that. Almost. I just remember getting some entertainment out of these 4 trying to research this house, and the some of those low budgetness gave a bit of a charm to me. I don't know how else to word it without going to 20 minutes of it. Take your Deborah Logan. If the ending was a bit different, it would be in the A. As it is, I'll put it in the like B plus. Because it's about a woman that has Alzheimer's or some other type of ailment. And you come find out that it's actually demon possession. But I like the actress that played Deborah Logan's daughter. I actually thought she was better than some of the... I think it was one of the crew. He said fuck it and just left. He said fuck this, I'm going. Was like the smart guy. I'm like, I'm not doing this. So when people act like they would in real life, that gives the movie a bit more of a plus for me. They're watching. That's another one that gets like a high. It takes a bit to get going, but there's some nice humorous moments. And the third act of They're Watching is just insane. I would say They're Watching. I would watch it for the. I would go seek out for the third act alone. The Tunnel. I'm gonna give that the S. I know there's a new Blu-ray coming out from Umbrella that I want to get because there's a new documentary on it. I mean, I only have the film on DVD. I don't have the film on Blu-ray, and there's a new documentary on it. So, which I could not find it to watch online. This isn't a festival, so it's supposed to come out in April this year. So I love The Tunnel, Australian horror film, found footage. It's found footage, but it's also people being interviewed who survived the ordeal. So I know that takes away the suspense, but I knew it's not real anyway, so I like the way it was done. I like the acting. I thought the guy who played the cameraman especially, I really liked his character. And plus, at least with the interviews, they explain why certain dumb decisions were made, so if you're annoyed by something, at least they explain their point of view, whether you agree or disagree. I thought that was kind of a nice different take on it, and had a great location. It was in these like underground tunnels in Australia. Really liked The Tunnel. VJS 2. I like most of the segments, but for some reason I want to put it in the B territory. At least that B plus. Like I said, I'm sure my letterbox is completely different because it's hard for me to always center on a damn list. So don't take the list for gospel. This is Spinal Tap. Most would say A or S. I like it. I don't think it's as funny as some people make it out to be, but there's some humorous moments. You know, turned up to 11. Yeah. I like This is Spinal Tap. It's a fake documentary. I don't, like I said, there's other ones I find more funny, but the cast do a good job. Maybe because I'm not that knowledgeable on bands and music, so some of the jokes I don't get, but that's still a pretty damn pretty damn good one. And Unfriended, I I think when I first saw this, I would have given this higher, but after seeing Searching do this much better, I'm gonna put a little bit lower on the list. I'll put it like there, Unfriended. I still like the concept. People with friends on Skype, but there's another person on there, and one by one, each of these people get killed, and you find out that the people you're following are pretty much bullies. So it's kind of like the spirit getting revenge on, the internet tryhards, cyber bullies. I think if they made that Ghost much more of a victim and much more innocent instead of, oh, she was a bitchy, horrible character, I think that worked out better because you would feel sorry for the Ghost and you go, okay, I get the idea fully. These people are cyberbullies. They have this fake persona that they hide behind the keyboard, and throughout the film you find out their true. I think that would have worked out better. You think the Ghost is the bad guy and these are innocent, and then it shifts. So you find out the Ghost is actually innocent and get revenge on these piece of crap cyberbullies. I think if it did more of that, this would have been in the A territory. As it is, it's still in the B. I would say around the B. I mean, maybe around there. So that's the 40. Searching, Blair Witch, Tunnel, Hardcore Henry, definitely S tier. As Above, So Below, Butterfly Kiss, Savage Land, those are like the A tier. Then, yeah, Digging Up the Marrow, Beyond the Mask, maybe like A minus tier. They're watching, take Deborah Logan, like those are B plus. VHS 2, I don't like the, what was that segment? The wraparound is there, and I forget which segment it was. I'm not big on. I forget what the hell. That's how. The one, I think the guy with his eyeball. But the other ones, especially the cult one, I thought was good. Speaking of cults, Sacrament. Mostly B. I see. And then C, Evidence, Fear of the Demon. They're films I could watch. Like this would be like C plus. I liked it for what they are. This like C, and these are probably like maybe C minuses. I don't hate them. But yeah, that's my top 40. So thanks for watching. Take care. Thanks once again, Guillermo. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.